Pascal, do you want to add?
Yeah, Peter, there was a moment in 2016 with the rise of Bernie Sanders that there seemed to be this flashpoint with the global elite in which there was a burgeoning interest in the concept of socialism and concern about wealth and equality in ways that I had not seen in my lifetime. There was a kind of new left, if you will, of people largely under 40 who had thought about concepts like wealth inequality and capitalist realism and the excesses of capitalism, largely because they were kind of a socially demobilized precariat of college graduated youth that they, for the first time, probably since the new left of the 60s, started to think about challenging capitalism. Do you think that moment has passed us by and that basically we're back to business as usual? And the idea of having this kind of cadre of burgeoning socialists, if you will, if you want to call them that, is over, and it's basically that, and that the bad guys have won, and it's business as usual moving forward.
Well, wealth has won in the sense that it continues to be concentrated and held by fewer people, and it's bypassing all of us. When you talk about 5, 6 years ago, I mean, the Occupy movement was certainly part of manifestation of that period, and um, the elites were terrified of the Occupy movement. They really, closed doors, telling the government to stop it, to undermine it. Police forces all over the country, infiltrated every Occupy organization that existed, and it was undermined and repressed and denigrated in the mainstream media, um, and put and literally put down. So when movements like that emerge or happen, um, they're the elites are fully aware that they are a small minority of people in a world of vast inequality, and where half the people are, literally just malnourished. Half the world population is malnourished, and 20,000 people a day are dying from malnutrition or easily curable diseases. Um, so that's a fact that so every day, 20,000 or more people die because of inequality. And to me, that is absolutely wrong, and that we need to adjust and reflect on that and do something about it. Now, in the book, I name the 117 titans who are the directors of the 10 largest capital investment companies. I name them by name, where they went to college, um, who they work for,
Yeah.
and their public net wealth. They're all multimillionaires, and many of them have managed companies of their own. And these 117 people, they all know each other or know of each other for sure. Those 10 companies are all cross invested in each other to the tune of $350 billion a year. So, of cross investments. So they're watching what everybody's doing. This is a core center of global capitalism and money being managed by a very small number of people, fully aware of what's where they're investing and what they're doing. And they're just all their other companies. They're all in two or three other boards of directors. So somebody's on General Motors, or some of them are on Google's board, and that sort of thing. Collectively, their boards, um, of these 117 people, their companies that they're on the boards, they have a $5.3 trillion annual income on these other companies. So that's an amount of money that's larger than the GDP of all the nations in the world except for China, the U.S., and Japan. So I mean, this wealth concentration, it's terrifying to me that it's going to continue to happen, and that they will literally be buying up everything or controlling everything of any value in the world. And that represses all of us. It makes us all poorer. And it's very undemocratic for sure. They're not fans of democracy at all, especially when it comes to publicly deciding how the world's wealth should be used. They control it. They want to continue to control it. They want to be able to control all the wealth in the world at some point, and that becomes oligarchic, to say the least.
Do you think that moment that happens around 2016, because I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, Pascal, the kind of Bernie Sanders moment of 2016, where let's say socialism stops being a bad word for a lot of people. Do you think that moment is over? Where
Not
people
at
are,
all. Well,
you
yeah,
think it's still
no,
going?
that moment is not over. The moment is going to be with us until this whole situation gets corrected, or we have an absolutely monarchy of control over in a police state,
Mm-hmm.
which as they continue to concentrate wealth, they're going to have to put together, and I mean, in many ways they already have. So that's the danger that we're faced with,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have to say no to that and engage in publicly telling them, you can see all their names, you could write all of them and say it's time to fix this. We got to stop having people starve in the world today. The wealth is more than adequate to feed everybody, to take care of everybody in the world at a minimum standard of living. It's very possible, and it needs to be done, um, just for humanitarian purposes, let alone um, beliefs in socialism.